In five, four, three.
Number 2.
Diarrhea. Yeah. Welcome everyone to Toon Talk 2.0. As always, Jake, our host, and the co-host. And today we have for the third time in a row a co-host, Alexander, the Oracle Sakal. Why? Because we didn't prepare this podcast enough, so we needed to call an expert because we didn't have time. Right, Jake?
Yeah,
How are
so
you?
Alexander, it's all you, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm
buddy.
just
Let me know when
I'm
you're
happy.
done. I'm gonna read.
Yeah.
It's great to be here with you guys. So what are we talking about today?
Well, I don't know. I thought you knew.
I thought you knew. I
Well,
mean, we didn't prepare anything.
I
I'm
guess we're
going
talking
blind.
about intellectual properties transitioning from the original source into movies.
Like an
Look at that shit.
like an
He said it so
adaptation.
nice.
I know that was
He said it
very
so nice.
so
Can you repeat
corporate.
that? Because I'm gonna make my face like I care. Come on.
Intellectual property making the transition from the original source into movies and or animation,
Wow.
which we all love. Like, the properties I'm talking about.
Yeah. You know what? In a second, it looks like we care, Jake, but suddenly we became potheads. We were like,
Yeah, no, we did kind of switch there.
yeah, we need to keep in character. Yeah, we're gonna talk about how all the favorite for many people became a movie for the best or for the worst.
Usually the worst in the modern era, but
Most times, yeah.
Yes.
which speaking of which, not to get off topic, have either of you watched the South Park Panderverse episode yet?
I've just watched like little
I know.
snippets of it.
I wanna watch it, but I wanna be able to sit down and just watch it because it looks so funny.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna make a statement that maybe a lot of our followers not gonna like, but I do not like South Park anymore.
Really?
I mean,
I don't know what happened. I used to watch it with Alexander. I watched the movie. The movie I sang like everyone, put it in your mouth and suck it. But at a point in my life, in my heart, Kenny really died, and that's it.
Oh, dude, you're missing out on so much because Kenny comes back. But if Kenny hadn't died, we wouldn't have gotten
What?
Butters.
Let me go. I gotta watch it.
No, Butters. I slept on South Park for a long time because
Shut the
I.
fuck up!
Well, I'll tell you what. You could stuff it in your stocking, yeah. But oh my god, Butters is my spirit animal. I love Butters so much.
Because you're a spirit animal. Okay. You know what? No, something happened to me, and talking about a personal matter, like I mentioned before, I used to have a huge collection when I was living in Mexico. DVDs, special things, and I got these four. Remember the original four, from South Park, and I got it like in the top of the shelf, and somebody stole those. And after that, my heart got broken. I stopped seeing. I haven't seen South Park probably since I actually get late, not like you guys. So no, actually, I stopped watching South Park probably for 6, 7 years now, or more.
I recently started going back and watching it from the beginning, and oh my god, it's 10 times funnier than I remember it, and it's very. Matt and Trey are geniuses because I don't know if you remember. I don't remember the name of the episode, but the premise, which is funny because there's a character in it whose name is Premise Running Thin. It's the episode where they go to the Indian casino, right? And they all get SARS, the SARS blankets.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was ages before COVID, and they make fun of how non-lethal percentage-wise SARS actually is when Randy's like, "It's okay, Stan. There's a 98% chance that we'll all fully recover. All we need is chicken soup."
Please, before we continue this podcast, everything that Jake says is by his own. Nobody has for him, so we don't say Indian casinos anymore. We see reserved entertainment centers where you can bet, and we don't say SARS. We say rare sickness that damage humanity. I apologize in that. Fuck you.
we don't know what it is.
Pretty sure,
Yeah,
pretty sure they don't care about either on the Indian casinos.
I mean, we have. Yeah, I don't think they have Wi-Fi in Indian casinos, right? Because they will be a fan of Toon Talk 2.0.
I was
I'm
about to
pretty
tell.
sure.
I was about to tell a horribly racist joke, and I'm not going to.
Come on, now you gotta.
No,
If somebody take
it's
this
not a.
down,
No, it's not a good one. It's not a good one. I'm not.
okay.
But it's in that same episode. I you have to understand. I love irreverent humor, and I was so not ready for this joke because the adults are gambling. The kids go to the Native American comedy club. Do you guys remember this? How the audience
Yeah,
laughs?
no. Please guide us, because I
Oh
don't. I
my
haven't
god!
seen it in a long time ago.
So the joke in and of itself is a dad joke, but then when he hits the punchline, the whole audience goes ha 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 ha.
That is so funny.
I
Man.
was not ready for that.
Yeah.
That is so funny. Sorry if I lose my image for a second, guys, because it's been a crazy day with the band and all the new releases. November 4th, the new single is coming out, and I actually didn't copy all the files for the show to my iPad, so I'm flying blind. So just keep going, guys, please. I
Okay,
apologize.
well, you have us. The official start is from page to screen, discuss the enchanting process of adapting books, comics, and graphic novels into movies and TV shows. So let's talk about the greatest of them all, Green Lantern.
Again.
They actually missed with
Okay,
that.
sure.
Oh no, I was totally being a
Go ahead.
smartass.
Yeah.
Well, let's just
You know-
say they rectified it in Deadpool 2. Let's just.
So
Yeah.
I want to talk about something. I'm back. I wonder why all the shorts of our podcast are yours. I don't know what's going on here, Jake. I don't want to go on a strike. I don't want to be like an actor in Hollywood. But every short in our podcast is you talking.
That's not true.
Yeah, I'm asking that fucking question. If it's because of my accent, I really don't know why you people complain.
No, that's not true at all.
Sadly,
in
sadly,
fact,
this is the way I'm gonna go on a strike.
there's only been
me
one
and little-
short. Hold on. There's
Me and the big elephant in the room.
No, you sir, you lie, sir. There's been only one short that I made that didn't include you. It was the Green Lantern
Did you
one.
just say that you're the only one that has a short?
No, you made one and you edited yourself out of it.
I don't edit shit. That's what we have Nino and Camilo.
Okay,
for.
Nino
Hey,
edited you out of it.
By the way, I want to welcome this first podcast when we have our PA. That's not power amplifier. No, it's personal assistant for this production. Ladies and gentlemen, a clap. He's not gonna talk, guys, but clap to Camilo. He's just starting in the company today.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like power amplifier.
Yeah, you know what? That's your new nickname.
That is your power amplifier.
You're the PA. When somebody told you, "Are you a personal assistant?" You're like, "Hell no."
I'm the power amplifier.
Power amplifier. Yeah. So you're like a Viagra. We can call you Viagra too. Yeah. Anyway, so let's go back into theme. Sorry, Oracle, we're too serious today. So let's talk about the movies that became, or the comics. Or let's start with what we're going to start from page to screen, right?
Yep.
Adapting books, comics, graphic novel into movies and TV shows. Explore the success and challenges, bringing beloved literary words into life of the screen. So, be my guest. Who'll be the first one to want to talk about
Well,
something?
I have one. I have one in
Go ahead.
mind. Actually, pretty good. And they turned the books into movies. And each movie that came out after the first one just got better and better. It's the Harry
Lord
Potter.
of the Rings.
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up Lord of the Rings, but yeah, Harry Potter. With one notable exception, which is funny because, well, actually, no, it's not an exception because that book was the worst one too. I was going to say number 4, but both the book and the movie were the worst of the bunch. So funny that.
Sorry, I don't want to repeat jokes, but let's talk about the big elephant on the room. I don't know if you guys talked before this. I don't know if I was too late, but I do not like Harry Potter, guys.
That's a shame, dude, because like I remember when the first movie came out.
It's a Star Wars again.
Well, you have to keep in mind that the first movie was directed by Chris Columbus, right?
The first
So
two, wasn't it? Didn't he do
the
the
first
first two?
were directed by Chris Columbus. So they took this like chill, like kiddie approach to it. Like like this
I
is
hate
like
it.
a magic, like a world of magic for kids. There's not really like high stakes situations or like gory deaths or sort of stuff like that. But once the third movie came out, The Prisoner of Azkaban, it totally changed things.
I got my hands crossed. Just for you to know, I got my hands crossed. Keep going.
No, like I remember going to the movies, watching the third one, and I thought like this is really good. Like the whole mystery aspect of the story, like how they have to find out who's the bad guy, and it's not like
Yeah,
because they think Snape is the bad guy, but he's not really the bad guy.
I
Like
don't want to sound like an asshole. Everybody knows that I am, so I don't care. But listen to me for a second. I don't dislike the franchise. I do like the third party entertainment like the games and the merchandise and the wardrobe and even no, not really. I don't like the actors. What I dislike in when I saw Harry Potter, the first one, first of all, the name drives me crazy. But it's like you told a girl, "Hey, let's go and watch Star Wars." Okay, humor me a little bit. Stay with me a little bit. And then the girl got back to his girls like a week after and said, "What you guys did? He made me watch a movie. What was the name of the movie?" And I don't know. It was about a kid that lives with his uncle that doesn't make him believe in his dad, and they have like something to hit each other, like it's like a stick, and it shines in the top. And then he goes back and finds a scrubby guy that become his friends, and a girl that actually doesn't finish with him, finish with the guy. Oh, you watch Star Wars? Oh, that was Harry Potter. You see what I mean? It's a Star Wars remake. It's like a girl, like J.K. Rowling's, watched Star Wars and went to the kids and didn't remember shit because probably she was the boyfriend while he was watching the movie. Yes, I did that, Jake. If she's not a dyke, and and remake the story as she please. Everything that I told you guys is exactly the same in both movies.
Except,
It,
except at the end of
the
Star Wars,
glasses.
no, at the end of Star Wars, you don't see. What's a good example? You don't see Obi-Wan Kenobi undo his turban and Darth Vader's face is on the back of his head.
right.
I get it, but you went too far. I'm talking about the first one. In the
No,
first movie.
once you get out of the first act, they're totally
Ah,
different
but
movies.
okay, let
And
me write a
okay,
movie.
okay,
Wait. I
no,
got
no,
an
no,
idea,
no.
Jake. I got an idea. No. I got an idea. I'm gonna make a guy that he's let me see, a chef that he use a long thing to pull his things, and he's gonna go for the ingredients inside a big cave. And when she grabs the salt, he can mix it with the pepper. And when he run a big onion fall, oh, that's Indiana Jones, motherfucker. That's a Star Wars, the first one. It's a Star
Star
Wars.
Wars is just taking Joseph Campbell's hero's journey and putting literal pen to paper. That's why they're all the same.
Don't try to hit. This is not an argument like we're a couple. I'm not telling you about dinner and you can go back to argue about last summer. No. I'm just saying that J.K. Rowling
I'm
took
just
the
saying
course.
if you want to roll it back far enough, it all comes down to the hero's journey. You can Star Wars is
I get
Right.
it. Okay. I give
Especially,
you that.
especially the unwilling hero, because at the start of the story, these protagonists they don't want to be a hero.
well,
They just
Luke
get
does.
situations where they have to step
Well,
up.
actually, Luke wants to be a pilot for the Empire. To be
Well, I
honest
think
with you.
he just wants to be a pilot. And actually, no, there's a deleted scene that didn't make it into A New Hope where Luke actually talks about joining the rebellion with Biggs.
With
They
Biggs,
took
right?
it out.
Yes, it's at the beginning actually. In the audiobook and the radio drama that they did in London with a lot of the original characters in their voices. We hopefully we can try to listen to with our cast next week. You can hear that conversation, and Luke's just desperate to go in now. See what I'm saying is J.K. Rowling's went for a Netflix and chill with a guy. They watch Star Wars. She was. Let me do that again. And she
No,
kind of remembers some stuff, and she goes back and talks to the girl. Hey, how was the movie? Yeah, and she described it like that, and that's what I don't like it. When I watch Harry Potter, I'm like, this is a ripoff. I get what you're saying, but it's like she grabbed the script from Star Wars and just changed
Well,
stuff.
and George
I
Lucas
know it's
just took the script from The Hidden Fortress and just
da, da, da,
Right.
da, 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 da. Yes, I get it, but not as clear.
I still maintain it's not as clear as you're making it sound because Luke doesn't go
Ah,
Luke doesn't go to
put on the
school.
comments, please. Go
Luke
in the
doesn't
comments, people.
Luke doesn't have peers. Luke doesn't have a perceived bully in a position of power who's actually the only reason he's still alive throughout the
You're
entire
right. You're right.
franchise.
The uncle is human, and he doesn't have the force, and that's what he treat him bad and put him live under the stairs
um,
instead of downstairs and drinking blue milk. What I'm saying is a totally ripoff, and that hurt me. So when I watched the second one of Harry Potter, when I watched the third, I feel like what you felt, Alexander. But in that time, like J.K. Rowling wasn't the first one I was distracted to, but I wasn't the one laying down, so I didn't enjoy it, right, as much. And then for I watch it all, and I don't dislike them, but I can tell that it's a good thing. The first one is really bad.
I
Sorry,
think they
guys.
did a great job adapting the books into movies because you don't see that very often. You know, like you can very easily mess it up and just like introduce
No,
that aren't in the
people in
story.
Hollywood messing it up with the perfect story. Come on, are you bullshitting
Yeah.
us? Nah.
But with the Harry Potter movies, they did such a good job of because we know it's an adaptation. They can't like take all the time like in the books maybe months or even years pass between events. When you're making a movie, you don't have that luxury. You have to like speed things up and like close it together. Bring it like closer in the timeline. And I think they did a great job with those movies. Like each movie that came out after the last one, to me, was better,
yeah,
including
and some of the movies improved on aspects of the book that were like I'll use the last book as an example, the Deathly Hallows. So when I read the book, maybe I didn't read it properly,
You
but I
guys,
was
you,
it,
you guys lost me. Fuck Harry Potter. I'm leaving.
okay, but to me, when I read the book, it seemed like midway through, J.K. Rowling changed her mind as to what the focus was going to be. Because at first, it's all about hunting Horcruxes, but then they learn about the Deathly Hallows and are like, okay, fuck the Horcruxes. Because the last ones just seemed to fall into place. The movie, now granted, the movie had a few years of hindsight, but the movie to me seemed a lot more not plausible, but it made more sense as to because they never stop hunting the Horcruxes in the movie. They learn about the Deathly Hallows, and then Harry puts it together. But all that was laid out by Dumbledore and a few other people.
Oh, you mean Obi-Wan? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well,
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll give you that. Dumbledore's a little bit more than Obi-Wan because it's towards the end. Dumbledore comes to see Harry as not quite a peer, but more of a peer. So, because
Listen to me. After the first movie, somebody probably in a meeting say, "Hey, J.K. Rowling, you're doing a great job. Did you need to stop ripping out the most famous science fiction movie ever? Let's just work in another path." And it take life of its own. I get that many shows that we've seen are based in Shakespeare, are based and I get it. But here is so clear that disturbed me. I don't know, people in the comments, right? Maybe you agree with me, maybe you hate me. Please, you can put hashtag Mark Virus, you're an asshole. I get it. I won't complain about it. Everybody knows that I am. But that, for me personally, it went better, yes. At the end, I actually enjoy it. And like I say, I've been in Universal Studios several times in the games, and it's one of my favorites. The ride, the one in Florida when you jump into the motorcycles. I was screaming. If this was 1980, let's can we travel in time? In the 80s, I was screaming like a fucking bitch. Let's go back to 2023. I was screaming out of my lungs, really scared about all the excitement about how everything was going through. So I like the merchandise. I like everything. I used to have my hat, right, and everything. I just don't like the way that it was portrayed to us as an cultivated audience, right? That it was so in the face, the references. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I see that it was too much. And I get it. It was her first book in life, right? Usually, young authors, what they do is they grab a skeleton of a novel and adapt it. And that's really normal in the industry. But come on, J.K. Rowling's at least hide it a little more, dude. Just a little more. Instead of labels, I mean, listen, I know that it's annoying, but the dad was the one with the force. It was the right.
I
The
just
uncle is the one.
I just don't see
You
it,
can put
man.
a grandma, dude. You don't see it. The references are so clear, so
Look, you
clear.
can
I
say
mean,
this
it's
about a
a
bunch.
stretch. It's a reach, though.
If you
You can
say
say the same
so.
about a bunch of stuff. Like if you watch The Matrix, you can make the argument that it's an unwilling
Okay, that's
hero.
it. If you're gonna mess with Neo, I'm done.
Oh, you mean Internet Jesus?
Yeah.
Hey, wait. Can you shoot at me, please? Can you shoot?
Pew 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 pew.
Sorry.
And The
Um.
Matrix is not really adapting anything. It's just a whole new piece of literature. Like they came with it. Like obviously they based some of their mythology in real life stuff like Hinduism
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
but you see, it has a reference from 1984. The book has a reference. It has ideology. Terminator as well. The Judgment Day is a fantastic movie, right? That, of course,
yeah.
you can go to I Robot from the Russian, right? I don't remember his name. But what I'm saying is like Harry Potter, and specifically the first one, the philosophical bullshit. It was too much reference of Star Wars. That's what I'm saying. I move on. I move on. You guys win.
Yeah,
It's okay. I don't have a book that become $1 billion fucking industry, so I'm good. You guys win.
right. And that's like a sure sign that it's good. It wouldn't be
Not
the
necessary. There's a show in Latin America called Chespirito. There's a piece of shit and it make a lot of money. That's not a proof. People listen to reggaeton and sells billions of dollars. That's not a. It makes money. Doesn't necessarily needs to be
dude.
good.
There has to be an aspect of it that makes it so appealing to a lot of people. It can't be just like
Okay.
imposed, you know.
You cannot. We can impose in entertainment whatever you want.
But it has
How
to be
many?
good.
Just
Like it.
think to me. Think to me. Living la vida loca, Alexander. Just a little
Good.
piece.
Da, 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 da,
You know
da.
it. You know
Dun,
why?
dun, dun,
Because it
dun, dun,
was
dun, dun.
imposed like Ricky Martin's husband in his ass. It was
Ricky
put
Martin's
in there.
hella talented, man.
And we also know that Ricky Martin's on top.
Yeah,
I got a joke.
we
Yeah, I
think he.
can say that joke. I can say that joke, but I tell you guys later. If you
But I
want,
mean,
just put a comment and send me an email. I will text you the joke. It's really good.
Okay.
like, I agree that people are gonna like whatever it's sold to them. But when you're talking about properties as successful as Harry Potter or The Matrix or Lord of the Rings, it's because it's the source material is really good. Like it's really been thought into it. It expands into its own universe with all its rules and all its lore, and they keep with that line. You know, they don't stray from it. Like we can talk about like Game of Thrones. Like I know what's that?
I know it says totally. It says my new prompts for the show.
Like
Totally.
if you look at the Game of Thrones series, once they started writing outside of the books, like outside of the source material, you can really tell the difference in tone and in direction. You know, like you can really tell it's not good.
Yeah, and it's funny. Alexander and I were talking about that before we went on air, and I actually said that. I was like, I didn't know this at the time, but when the show started to kind of feel a little bit slower and meander a bit, and I started to become less and less interested on a per episode basis, I looked it up later. That's when they stopped basically taking the books and adapting it straight away. And Alexander's right. You can tell. And then I just want to make sure that we talk about Lord of the Rings because my mother would kill me if I didn't talk about Lord of the Rings.
And it's so easy to go off the rails Like it's so easy to just like start writing stuff that goes according to today's ideas and morals and stuff like that. But if you don't do it, like if you stick with the rules of your own world, that's quality, right there.
Yeah, my
You
biggest
know,
my biggest annoyance is when show, movie, whatever, they start breaking their own rules. That's the biggest annoyance for me. I hate Uri Potty. Ords, it is possible to you entence together like
I love
Sorry,
SpongeBob. I love it.
sorry, I couldn't help myself. No, no, I'm good. You know what? I can without against you too. It's like a
So,
fist fight of two
it,
guys in an alley, and I'm drunk.
like,
You
if you
win.
want to compare, let's compare. We're talking about Star Wars, right? You have the first three movies, which are really good, especially the second one. We all love them. Then you have the prequels that at the time were really hated on. Like I remember watching the Phantom Menace when it came out and thinking it's not that good, you know, like they really messed up the origin of Darth Vader. And because according to the first trilogy, like the Jedi religion was like an ancient thing, you know, like they
Yeah.
like it was forgotten, like nobody believed in that at the
I
time of the Empire.
I make the joke Star Wars' biggest problem is the fact that everyone in that universe suffers from short-term memory loss. Because I
Yeah.
remember when the prequels came out, Han says hokey religions and ancient weapons, and I'm like, and then the prequels come out, and I'm like, how long ago was this? Like 20
It's
years?
yeah,
Well,
that's
you
not a
gotta realize that Han Solo didn't use Twitter or X, so he was a little behind of everything.
Well, and
So
I defend the series by suggesting that you have to remember that's it's in a vast galaxy, and even though faster than light speed is possible, if you're away from Coruscant where the Jedi are headquartered, and especially if you're in the outer rim, that all may very well seem like ancient history or myth. So I say that it makes up for it in what are you talking about? Space.
like especially like in story, if you have like this oppressive empire, you know, like this evil empire where they did like genocides and they just like got rid of a lot of people who, you know, who knew about the Jedi, and then like the new generations grew up with propaganda and stuff like that. Like it didn't really exist. It really, I don't think they delved into that as much. I think it's more like an intuitive thing for us fans. But even then, the prequels they have their good their good aspect, you know, like they have like their moments, especially because of the cast, especially because of Ewan McGregor. He's just so good in those movies.
That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, he's like
that
the
was
new
really good.
came out like a couple of years ago. The Obi-Wan Kenobi was so bad. It was like awful, man. Like such a disappointment for me. I was like so high on watching it, and it's just like dog shit all throughout, you know. But he makes it work because he's just that good, you know. So taking that into account for the prequels, it elevated the prequels. Like nowadays, people love the prequels.
Well, yeah, because they compare them to the dog shit that is
Right. But when you
seven, eight,
watch
nine.
the movie, they're just awful, you know. Like they
Okay.
went they took the direction that they wanted to take, and they started adding like new woke stuff and like women are better than men, and like we have a new empire which is not called the empire but it's the same thing, like evil white man, you know,
Yeah,
like they
it's a remnant of the empire that has better technology, more
Yeah,
people,
yeah, yeah.
more
Hold on a second. You gotta
resources.
understand that the Empire evolved. Like the new album from Again, it's not Again anymore. It's Again and Forever. You see, you evolve. Anyway,
but
so
my
if you
point
guys
being,
wanna, sorry, if you guys wanna listen more about Star Wars, Episode 3, we dedicate 3 hours to Star Wars, and I next week is gonna be Star Wars as well. I don't want to push away your ideas. Let's go back to Harry Potter
yeah,
because that's how everything. You see, the power of Star Wars is so big in Harry Potter that even your mind took you there.
Actually, I think Alexander was trying to throw you a bone, but
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
so
I'm good.
Virus, I might be wrong here, but I'm getting the sense that you really like Star Wars.
No, I actually hate that motherfucker. Now, of course, I like Star Wars. For the last week and a half, I've been listening to the uh, radio drama that it was created like in 1982 with some of the original cast that I've been mentioning. And something really cool happened to me. The movie's what, an hour and 20 minutes? The original movie, probably?
I thought it was longer than that. Hang on.
I guess
Whatever. The,
like
the radio drama is 5 hours and 20 minutes. So
yeah.
all the little details that we miss, they are explained here. And something happened to me. I put it to fall asleep, and I got the scene when I fell asleep is when the Darth Vader is actually interrogating Princess Leia. In the movie, you just see the door that opens and the robot comes, and she's like, ugh. Well, in the radio book, you can hear the tell me what is said. And that, and she's like screaming to the gods because she's getting tortured.
All right.
And I fall asleep listening to that. Yes, I'm a psycho. I fall asleep listening to that.
Torture
I
sounds,
didn't know it
Virus.
No, yeah,
She's
my nickname is Virus, guys. It's not
torture.
Tommy Thompson. So, well, Tommy Thompson was great in the drums. I mean, in the disco time. But I fell asleep, and I didn't know it was in replay, like after. So I woke up like at 6, and I'm listening to the same scene. I go like, what the hell happened? Did I time warp? But I really want to share this with you guys. And next week you're invited, uh, Alexander, if Boss Jake allow it. I know. He feels so uncomfortable when I call him boss. That's what I do it all the time. Right, boss?
Right, you're fired.
Ah, fuck.
He's
It was
like,
my first day.
he's like, you're not the boss anymore.
So we can closing Harry Potter. I know it's a fantastic adventure. It's a great journey. Personally, it lost me in the first one. It got me back in the Prison of Azkaban a little bit, but I always carried the burden of the reference that I saw. Everybody knows that I'm in this podcast because I see things different. So don't blame me for being myself. Like you can blame to listening to. I'm sorry, I won't do that again. Uh, sorry. Remember, Oracle. Every time we say again, we gotta do the pose.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So let's do it again.
Sorry, that's so funny. Anyway, we were talking about your option. You were mentioning the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, we have to because I have to stress this. Talk about being a weird, like somebody who's different. I was literally raised on Tolkien. When I was very young, it was The Hobbit. As I got
Are you a
older,
halfling?
no, but I do have Hobbit feet, interestingly enough.
Thank you for sharing your hairy food caring with us. Thank
Hobbits
you.
are great. I love hobbits.
It is what it is. But so like most kids were raised on other stuff, I was literally raised on The Hobbit. In fact, one of my most prized possessions is the deluxe illustrated edition of The Hobbit. Unfortunately, mine is missing the dust jacket, which had smog.
Can you move it more to the center?
Yes.
Yeah, for the audience, that's fantastic.
That looks great.
Well, unfortunately, the dust jacket has artwork where Smog is here, and then on the back it's Smog sleeping, but it has artwork from the animated movie all throughout it.
Thank you, Jake. You didn't have to give that to me.
Nice.
I didn't.
Well, no, this is one of my most prized possessions because this is a book that I grew up with since I was a very, very small child. And
I just want to say that Pacific Standard Time 5:46 in front of all the audience, Jake said that if something happens to him and he's not with us in this world, I will be the new possessor of that document.
You know what? Deal until I have children because that's the whole reason I bought it.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah. Daddy. Hey, Daddy.
I'll tell you what, though.
I can call you Daddy for that.
If you want to be bequeathed something, I can bequeath you my Latin edition of The Hobbit.
There you go.
What the,
That's
That's
great.
pretty good. It's not as good as the other one. Sorry,
no,
kids. You can
it's
say
not.
whatever you want.
But it tells the tale of Bilbo Baggins and his new friend Gandalfus.
I will compete in a fist fight with your kids in the future to win that book.
And you will beat them.
I don't know. I'll probably be really old, but okay. So,
But yeah,
something
so
that go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. So I was raised on Tolkien, and how do I phrase this? I grew up with the animated Rankin Bass version of The Hobbit, which is still a classic. It's very good. But other than that, for the longest time, we didn't have anything. We had the Ralph Bakshi, Lord of the Rings, and then the Rankin Bass, Return of the King. We got that later. But those are, like, they're not terrible, but they're okay.
But we you and me talk about this a lot. When you have the animated movie so well done, if you follow that, you will have a success. Because what Alexander said, when it's something well written and put your heart into it and well developed, that is not overcome that the mass media of entertainment, till this third part, if you watch the original Lord of the Rings animated with rotoscopy, it's scene by scene of what Peter Jackson did.
A lot of it,
Peter
yes.
Jackson, yeah, I mean, he solved problems, but he didn't put his input like we've been discussing for 11 episodes, right? If you have everything on, don't fuck it up. He didn't fuck it up. Peter Jackson, sit down, and I did this exercise. I don't remember it was with you, Alexander, that I put half of the screen, the animated one, half of the screen, Peter Jackson, and even the way that Boromir is dying with the arrow is the same.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that
Yeah.
and it's fantastic that somebody has the guts to do what you just say, to put all this together. If you have something good and you stick to the story, you're gonna have something better.
Well, yeah, and another, probably a better known example of that in the Fellowship of the Ring is the scene where the hobbits encounter their first ring wraith and they hide under the tree. That's, I mean, it's in the book, but that's not in the book like that. They don't hide under a tree, but it's such a great shot
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Peter Jackson says he ripped it right off. But you have to understand, as diehard Tolkien fans, when it was announced that they were doing live action trilogy. So first of all, the good news was that they were doing 3 movies because that was our first concern. But Fellowship of the Ring premiere, we went to the midnight premiere, the whole family, not friends. I went with my mother and my sister, and we're just waiting with we waited with bated breath because we were like, this is either going to be amazing or it's going to be terrible, and we don't know. Within the first, honestly, before the, I don't even know what you would call that, the prologue, yeah.
Yeah.
Before the prologue was finished, we were like, okay, yep, we're good. This is going to be fine. You know,
Yeah.
and then you see Ian McKellen everybody nails it. Nobody does a bad job in that movie. Ian McKellen as Gandalf, knocks it out of the park. Elijah Wood acts the way
There's
you
no
never thought he
mistakes.
could. Yeah, there's none. There's none. You cannot point to a single moment in that, honestly, and say, this should have been done differently. I can't think of the one.
I mean, I can go into deep bullshit, and I'm not agreed. I think it's a perfect movie, like the size of the Chain of the Ring that everybody talk about in their time. But the reality is a 9.9 of 10 movie.
Yeah. And one of the secrets, though, you brought this up on another, I think it was you. Oh, no, I'm sorry. My friend Shaw went on Instagram.
Now
Sorry.
you're confusing me with other friends.
It's because it was really smart
I'm
sounding.
telling you, this podcast is going to hell.
No, speaking of hell, though, my friend Shaw, when we did a Halloween episode on Sunday for the Average Intelligence podcast, you can still check that out after you're done watching this one, of course. But he pointed out how a lot of his favorite horror movies, and arguably the best ones, are good not solely because, but largely because they use practical effects. They don't blow all the budget on CGI. And the Lord of the Rings did that. A lot of the effects are old school, like German cinema camera trickery, forced
And that's something
perspective.
that
Yeah,
Peter Jackson does really good.
very well. A lot of it, it's stupendous, and they actually use body doubles with face molds, but they do it so well. You really, unless you know, you've been told about it ahead of time, you can't point it out. And even then, like, there's a scene where Gimli's running in a wide shot, and I know that's not John Rhys Davies. I can't tell.
No, you can't tell. I mean, just for the moment that you see the size difference between the halflings and the humans and the elves is fantastic, and that's really hard to accomplish in post production. But a lot they did in production, like right there. So that's
Like
beautiful.
that's great filmmaking, like the perspective shot and like knowing what to put into frame. That's Peter
Peter
Jackson.
Jackson is sent apart. Peter Jackson is. Let's take our hats off. I don't have a hat on. Shut. But
I
I will take my
agree.
hat off for Peter. I call him Pete. I don't know. We live really close. He
Well,
lives in Malibu. I live in Marina. We don't even know each other, but we're closer.
but I can't let him off the hook for the Hobbit trilogy. That was the
Yeah,
Yeah,
shits.
no. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it was Buster, I agree. But we have to remember that he wasn't originally supposed to make those movies, you know, like
Yep.
he was just maybe produce them or like give input, and then it fell through with Guillermo del Toro, and they had to bring Peter Jackson into it.
Well, I think the big mistake on that one was the fact that they pushed in it. That's a one movie. It's certainly not three. Two would have been a push. And like I said, they almost perfectly adapted The Hobbit into the Rankin Bass animated movie. It's
Right.
almost perfect. It's they leave some out, but as an adaptation, it's virtually flawless.
Yeah, especially because they had to bring in some elements of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, just like to tie
Well,
them up together. You know,
they
the
did
whole next thing.
they brought in a bit too much. Legolas should not have been in that movie. There shouldn't have been that weird subplot where it's Keely or Feely. I think it's Keely and that elf
Yeah,
lady are in love. I'm like, why?
yeah, they
This
totally made.
is.
They did. They did.
However, the one thing that I loved in the Hobbit movies, and I forget the actor's name, I apologize. The actor who plays Thorin nailed it.
yeah,
Yeah, his
you
name's
know,
Stephen Armitage.
I think so.
Armirash.
And then Bilbo was portrayed. Well, you know what? I take that back. Bilbo could have been a little bit more skittish in that movie or in those movies.
Really, you think so?
Just a little bit, especially at the beginning. Maybe towards the end, he gets a little
I
bit.
think that that's the English touch in the movie.
Well, but let's remember, Bilbo spends the vast majority of the Battle of Five Armies unconscious, and he never
Yeah,
fights. So that
yeah,
that for me, it kind of, which I get it. They wanted to harken back to the Lord of the Rings, but you have to understand, Frodo, Sam, and particularly Merry and Pippin were very odd hobbits.
Right.
Hobbits are not interested in fighting,
crispy
and
bacon.
They're not brave at all. Right.
yeah, they have
Yeah, because
yeah.
a real hobbit doesn't leave the Shire. A real hobbit doesn't care about anything that is not their own
I
small
mean, they
world.
just
At
like to
least
keep to
for
themselves because they know how evil the world outside is. So they just
yeah.
they don't want to worry to it. But
Yep.
Bilbo does.
Uh, Bilbo is a different kind of hobbit.
Well,
Just for the
Bilbo,
simple fact that he prefers to go away. And you know what? In my perception, the difference between the normal hobbit and the hobbits that they became our heroes is because they're there to dream.
well,
That there's nothing else.
they're all branch of the Took family, and the Tooks are very odd hobbits. They're the ones
Full
that
of
are
a
the
took.
well, yeah, but that's they're all offshoots of the main the old Took. The one that even Gandalf
Yeah.
knew and was the odd outlier, the one that killed the Goblin King and invented the sport of golf.
Yeah, that's fantastic, isn't it?
Loved it.
Yeah.
But Bilbo, particular, you got to remember, Bilbo wasn't exactly chomping at the bit to go on this great adventure. Gandalf pretty much forced him.
Right.
Now afterward, Bilbo gets a taste for it, and then Frodo obviously spends his entire life hearing about these stories, but even Frodo's somewhat reluctant. Frodo leaves thinking, I feel like I have to do this, but I just have to take it to Rivendell. That's all I have to do,
Yeah,
and I
and
get to
that's
see
it.
Bilbo. Yeah, and then
Right.
But then his heart talks again, and his adventure side is when he said, "I take it over there, right?" Without
but that's because, and this is the moment I love that I think the movie does it a little bit more this way. The book's a little bit different, but I love that moment because for me, as somebody who is very much into ethics, and
What are
responsibility in
you
this.
doing being my friend?
Oh, come on, buddy. You and I both know you're a good person, as much as you try to not play it off. But to me, I always read that as Frodo, and somebody who can relate to this from time to time. Frodo, in that moment, sees that he looks at every possibility of giving so and so the ring. Gandalf already said, I can't give it to him because he knows it will corrupt him, which I love. I love that moment too, because Gandalf knows he doesn't even want to touch it because he
Right.
knows. He
He
knows.
knows. He knows that power will
Yeah.
corrupt you.
And now
Uh,
even and Aragorn's the same way because Aragorn honestly probably has the best shot, but even he understands. He's like, listen, I'm a descendant of Isildur. You know, he was corrupted, and I could just as much. And not only that, just I'm of the line of Numenor. You know, and before the ring even existed, they were corrupted by Sauron and all that. So I'm very susceptible. Legolas wouldn't even dare touch the thing. You know, none of them, and we all know what would happen if Gimli took it. You know, the dwarves. Well, they would have just taken it back and hoarded it, which, frankly, Sauron would have been okay
that
with.
wasn't not a bad idea.
Well,
it wasn't a bad idea.
but eventually, because they go through this, eventually the dwarves would have been pretty resistant because they resisted the temptation of their own. The only beings that actually became corrupted by the rings of power were the nine of men, because the dwarves kept them, but they just dug deeper and they got greedier, and the elves were actually, because they weren't made by Sauron, they were just tied to it.
Wouldn't you love a what if from the Lord of the Rings?
No, because we got Rings of Power, which is a terrible.
That doesn't count. Rings of Power is like talking about the fourth place in a beauty pageant. Everybody fucks her, but nobody likes her. Okay, so let's move on.
That's the what if though.
So I think that my qualification from the Lord of the Rings, going from the script, I mean the paper to the screen, it will be a 9.8, I will say.
Yeah, and I like to think that Tolkien would have liked, at least tolerated, because you know how authors can be. Some authors just hate anything that's not their own written word, and I get it.
Tolkien was a complicated person. I don't know if you guys watched this fantastic movie that is The Life of Tolkien. It was a lot of fantasy that every time that he's imagining in the movie, you see scenes. I think that that's a fantastic movie.
I hated
it. It's not a bad movie. I know that a lot of fans hated it, but I try to separate myself from the fan. I actually enjoy the movie.
Well, let me explain why I hate it for one specific reason. I think it could have been good. Here's what did it for me, and this is somebody who likes historical movies. Now, one thing we don't see very often, and I don't mean it in a gratuitous way, we don't see a lot of movies. Now, this has changed somewhat recently, but at that time, we didn't really ever see that much of combat scenes in World War I films. They're usually shorter or more intimate. Now, that changed a little bit with movies like 1917, a couple scenes in movies like War Horse, but I was very excited because we all know that Tolkien was heavily inspired.
Yeah, heavily.
Yeah, by the Dead Marshes. He's said his own. He was inspired by the bodies in No Man's Land. Blah 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 blah. They ruined the World War I scenes, the combat scenes, which are literal hell on earth, by adding in the I'm not even going to say supernatural, but like the fantasy elements into it. I'm like, no, the real thing's way more impactful. Now, I guess I get what they were going for, but to me, it took me out of the moment. So that's just me.
Yeah, I guess it took you out of the moment. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But the trilogy, the original trilogy of the Lord of the Rings, is one of the most perfect trilogies I ever seen. So,
I mean,
at least in my
and let's give a shout out to Andy Serkis, who absolutely killed it with Gollum.
But a huge part of it is Gollum.
You guys, have you ever heard? Probably you guys should, but I will share it to and please correct me if I'm wrong. How he cast for that role?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't a known actor. He was trying to get there, like a lot of people around the world. And when they told him, he didn't know a lot about the Lord of the Rings, and he was playing with his cat, and his cat actually went with a hairball, and that inspired him to go and actually he did his first run without that. And they say, "Can you put more intention?" And he's like, "Fuck it." No, and that's how he nailed it. The
Loved
thing,
it.
I think it's fantastic. I love
As
that story. I don't know
as
if it's real or not, but it's good.
yeah, well, though, as a fan, when I heard him cough Gollum the first time, I was like, oh, that's so much better. It's so much
Yeah.
better because in some other adaptations, Gollum just says his name randomly, and I love the cough, and I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. That's why they would call him that.
Now, the only mistake that I will say that you bring it to my mind is the CGI on Gollum in the first one, in the Lord of the Rings, in the Fellowship of the Ring.
That's
That
fair.
it's so different. It's so different from the. It's just so different. It's not bad, but it's
Yeah,
so
Well,
different that it's like, what the
yeah,
hell?
he's only there like for like 5 seconds in the first one.
Doesn't matter if you do this and you're a
Right.
main character. Dude, it's more than enough.
But
yeah.
it's mysterious. And you don't get a good look at it. Like you don't know what it
I
looks like.
know, I know. Peter Jackson was smart enough to let us know that, and of course, when in the Return of the King, when the scene starts, that it's not like that, right? With the two brothers, that scene is fantastic.
It's
That
very
scene is
good.
fantastic because you realize that Frodo, I mean that, uh, what was the name of Gollum? Sorry, I
Smeagol.
need to speak.
Miko.
Smeagol is gay and actually he's dating his brother, so
It's
it's
not his
really clear in the.
brother.
Well,
Hey,
I'm confused anyway.
I didn't say they weren't gay. I'm just saying it's not his brother.
Ah,
Now I will speak because somebody in the comments is gonna be like, yeah, well, at the Battle of Helm's Deep, elves weren't there. It's like, yes, I know, but I'm gonna say it. I liked the way the movie did it better.
can you just talk about our audience again? How they're gonna say it?
Not the whole audience, but there's somebody out there's really, well, at the Battle of Helm's Deep, there totally were elves there. And in fact, elves never joined the free peoples with the exception of Legolas, which is also false because the
You know
green
what?
elves of Mirkwood were
Every
actively
person,
fighting Sauron.
every person that talks like that is my best friend. Fuck Jake. Anyway, are you ready for my? I'm probably mistaken, but I'm gonna jump really far because the book, like you say, in I don't know how much time passed since J.K. Rowling copied Star Wars. I mean, wrote Harry Potter to the movie was released. How many years?
Like 3,
3 or 4, yeah, because it was 2001, wasn't it? The
7, I
movie.
guess.
The book came out in
Tolkien to
'97.
Tolkien to the Lord of the Rings. How many years? 30 something?
Oh,
More?
way more than that. Because
I really don't know.
the Lord of the Rings came out in 2001, also, I
Wow,
believe.
it's already so far. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you one that it just took 2 years for the book to the movie. Are you guys ready? Can I get some wrong? Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah,
Agreed.
Jurassic Park is a fantastic movie. I'm talking about Jurassic Park. I'm not talking about the shit. The
Right.
the the Michael Crichton, whatever you pronounce his name, Michael book
Crichton.
that Steven Spielberg read it and forgot everything and said, "I want to make this movie right now." It's a
It's a cinema.
fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's a milestone in film.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park is. I mean,
I mean, the movie, the book was released in 1990, and the movie was released in 1993. That means that they filmed in 1991. Took them 1 year and a half to start filming, and that's a big stretch. And that's what I like Jurassic Park. First of all, the story is really different. Uh, the explanation of chaos by the Doctor is fantastic, right? It's probably my favorite characters in, without going to superheroes and all like that, like a normal human character. That Doctor is fantastic because he's dressed like Bono from U2, right? He really Bono was doing the Suropa tour and he dressed like that all the time. So actually I saw the interviews with the actor and he says that he took a lot of from Bono in the way that he dressed himself and portrayed himself.
Ian Malcolm.
Uh,
yep.
yeah, the the special effects in that movie, dude. I can see a mistake. In 1993, they look like dinosaurs. There's no one mistake that you go like, ah, right? It's nothing like that before. I think, like Alexander said, it's a milestone in
Especially back
how to
then
make a movie.
when you went to the movies and it was like one theater and it was like a big screen. I remember watching that for the first time and like looking at the dinosaurs. It was like looking at an elephant or like a real
Yeah,
animal, you know, like
yeah. I mean, when they go from the first time that they see a dinosaur, right? That the doctor say, put your head between your knees. Is like
right.
dude,
That
that moment, the first time that you hear the doo, 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 doo,
Oh,
doo,
the
right.
score though. Oh,
such a
That's
good
part of
moment.
that's a huge
That
part of it.
movie is a 10. And I don't know if you guys read the book. There's a lot of different things because it's more focusing Ian Malcolm, the book. However, the adaptation, I mean, there's no mistakes when you see Steven Spielberg. It's really hard to see a mistake. His obsession and obsession to make perfection is fantastic,
well, and
right?
not like talking about Steven Spielberg again, and this is another adaptation too. You know, this is giving Steven Spielberg credit. Originally, you were supposed to see the shark in Jaws much earlier, but the damn thing
Yeah,
kept breaking. So Steven Spielberg, the master of taking negatives and turning them into positives. Because again, that's how you got the scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark when Indiana Jones just shoots the guy. It's because Harrison Ford was sick, and he's like, "Can I just shoot the son of a bitch?" You know.
Yeah.
And then taking a page out of Hitchcock's book, you know, you don't see the shark until way later in the movie than was supposed to be, and it works so much better.
yeah. I mean, I just watched a movie, The Fableman. Have you guys seen the movie The
Yeah,
Fableman?
it's really good.
I've heard of it, but I
It's
haven't seen
really
it.
good. It's
Loved it.
based lightly based in his life, but you can see it right there. The way that he presents, the way that he see the world as a director, makes total sense. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, right now he's producing the Tiny Toons University. The guy is a genius. That he can go from one thing to another. But going back to what we're talking in the podcast, um, I mean that will be my from the book to a movie. Just take it a simple book from a star note writer and make a mainstream thing. The second one is not bad. The third bad, and it gets worse. But it didn't get worse. It just get normal Hollywood.
Right.
However, the first one is so good that when you think about Jurassic Park, you just think about the first one.
Right.
If that makes sense, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoy it a lot. That would be my input from page to screen. And if you guys allow me, let's go to animated adventures. We can delve in the world of animated films and TV shows that has made a leap to live action adaptation. From Disney classic like Lion King to the recent success of Detective Pikachu, we'll explore the art of translating animated magic into the real world. And let me start, if I will, Alexander. What happened to me with this is, maybe gonna make a mistake, but all this podcast was inspired because what I decide to do, and I don't know if you will agree with this, Jake, is I'm not paying Disney, HBO, Showtime like before because I'm more focused in the podcast. I stopped Netflix and I have HBO. I mean, I gotta have Amazon Prime all the time because I order things. But I stopped everything and I focused 1 month in HBO. And I enjoyed the shit out of HBO. Yesterday, my HBO subscribed and I got my list and I rehired Netflix. And the first thing that appeared on me, yeah, you know what? When you have so many options, you get lost. Sometimes I spend more time trying to see what I'm gonna watch. And usually, Disney Plus is not used by me; it's used by all my friends, right, Alexander? So the the point is like I turn off HBO, I turn on Netflix because that's the point of having apps, not to pay a cable channel of $200. And I found the Knights of the Zodiac, the movie on Netflix. I
Mm.
haven't watched it, but then I go like, oh shit, this is a Toon Talk moment, right? So that's what inspired all this. And then right now talking of the animated adventures, for me, the one that actually nailed it correctly, we don't fall into comic books, right? Because I don't want to fall into comic books, at least me. It will be Aladdin. Aladdin with Will Smith is a really good movie. It's not a bad movie. First of all, the director is a demigod. He's not a god like Spielberg. What is the name of the director? The same from the Covenant. You just watch the Covenant. Take one
Yeah,
of your favorites.
I've seen The Covenant. I wouldn't call it a favorite, but I have to vehemently disagree. I think the live action Aladdin is at best a ripoff with very bad additions, and at worst, it's just a
Really, I
yeah.
like it. Maybe I like Jim's Will Smith a lot. Maybe that's what it is.
I would have liked it
It's
better if
never gonna
they.
be.
And
Yeah.
I'm not going to take credit for this. There's a YouTube channel on there's a YouTube channel called
Stop the competition, Jake.
no, actually, it's a very good channel. It's called Sideways, and all he does is he goes really in deep to music and mostly movies. He has a video called "Why Disney's Live Action Movies Are Worse Than You Think." And one of his biggest criticisms of Aladdin, he said, "Listen, what made the original Aladdin so magical was that they had the character of the genie in mind with Robin Williams, and they let him do it his way. But then they take Will Smith, somebody who is extremely creative and musically, he has a background in music, and they try to shoehorn him into Robin Williams' character. And he said, listen, watch the movie again. When Will Smith is doing his genie, it's magical. It's great. But when we first meet him, they're just repeating Robin Williams' lines. And I agree with them wholeheartedly. If they'd let Will Smith do his version of the genie, which is what the character is it's just it's the actor who's portraying him dialed up to about 15. That
And
would
I
have
get
been
it.
better.
I get it. But I'm gonna say something. And within the world of making animated movies, classics, sadly for me that's the best one because the rest are really bad.
Are you talking about the
Nothing.
live action remakes? Or?
Yeah, yeah. That's what we're talking about, right? The animated thing that we come from animated films to, to movies. Uh, that's what I chose. That one, Lion King, boring.
Oh, that movie sucked.
I can't wait for Snow White to see how many people suicide in the movie theater, right?
Which, fun
So
fact, we're going to play with time for a second here. So, if you're watching this right now, the
we
previous
just
Thursday,
have a
yeah, we
yeah.
just had a podcast where we literally, because Disney made some announcements about the new Snow White, and we tore that thing a new one. I hope we did.
I mean, don't take me wrong, but if I can turn somebody an ass and it's Snow White, it was
Let's just.
But what I'm saying is, from I was trying to think, and obviously my mind took me to Disney, and I'm thinking, what movie actually do I like that it was an animated movie? And my favorite one from all that I thought about was that because the other ones they don't even made it for me. The Jungle Book, I tried to watch it 3 times, and the 3 times I fall asleep in the same scene
Oh, you
with the
didn't.
snake.
You didn't like Christopher Walken singing? Uh,
Okay, move
oh,
on to the next step.
oh, Obi do. I wanna be like yo.
So that's really funny. Uh, so yeah, I didn't else come into mind, and for me that was the better one from everything. You know what I like a lot? The movie from what was the name of the 100 Dalmatians in life movie in life the
Cruella,
100 Dalmatians.
Cruella.
Cruella, the music is really good, but just the music. The rest I didn't like it. So that's my Aladdin. What you say is real, but it didn't. If the animated movie from Aladdin in the 90s didn't exist, the Will Smith will be really good.
Well,
But as
but
we have a
that's
comparative,
but that's just it. If the movie in 1992 didn't exist, that live action movie wouldn't exist. It wouldn't have been
Right.
made.
you never know. But okay, but I give you that. That's fine. So what about you guys? What is your peak of the animated adventures to movies?
Film. I guess there's not that many uh live action movies based on animation.
And another one that didn't read the pages that I sent. Sorry.
Well, I can think of a couple, but I mean, just off the top of my head, maybe the GI Joe movies count,
Yeah, it counts.
right?
Oh,
Because it's a
well,
cartoon.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I like
Yes, you know what? I totally for I like that too.
The 1990 one specifically is what
So
I'm
I'm
talking
gonna
about.
if I don't know if you guys have an idea, but I can read you 10 1. I don't know if you wanna I can read you 10 that you guys tell me if you like it or not. The
Okay.
Lion King,
bad.
Beauty and the Beast,
Didn't like it.
Aladdin, that's what we just talked about. The Jungle Book. Let's go deeper.
You
Ghost
know,
in the Shell.
I haven't seen the live action one, but I heard it was not good. But I'll tell you right
Nah,
now.
just save your ass, bro.
Yeah. You know what would have made the Jungle Book live action movie better? More
What?
cowbell.
More cowbell.
You know, more cowbell.
That's what
Someone's
it
good to
did.
have a cowbell.
It needed more cowbell. It had a fever.
Hey, he knows what he's saying. What was the name of the character?
Oh God, I can't remember.
The name of the producer is like, he's so, you know what, guys? Let me do the stomach thing. Remember how, like, yeah, let's do it. Wow, sorry. If you know, you know. Um, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
That's great.
No, well, hang on a second. How is that? How is that a cartoon that became a live action? Or are you doing the reverse on that one?
I guess
No,
it's not.
Spider-Man was a cartoon, brother. In the
Okay.
80s, Spider-Man was a cartoon.
Into the Spider-Verse is not live action.
That's why I'm asking. It's a great movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great movie,
Well,
and
the
Across
thing
the
is-
Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
was...
you guys. I mean, as the fucking AI that works for us, Camilo, that's your fault. You didn't check that fact. Batman, the Game of Thrones, Attack of the Titan. Can you guys remind me which one is Attack of the Titan?
Attack on Titan, you mean?
Right.
Attack on Titan. Yeah, which one is that?
That's an anime series that is very good. I heard they made a live action movie. I haven't seen it, but I've heard.
I know
I've heard,
it's an action movie. That's what I'm reading here.
yeah, I've heard it wasn't terrible, but I heard the effects left a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
Dead Note.
Okay, so Death Note is fantastic series. The
It's
live
fantastic.
action
I never
movie
seen
is
the live action.
it's the
Really?
shits. Yeah.
You know, now that I'm thinking,
Well, hang on. Are you
Go
talking?
ahead.
Are you talking about the Japanese live action or the Netflix adaptation? Because they're both bad, but one is
I haven't seen it neither. I just saw the original Dead
Oh.
Note and I like it a lot.
oh my god, the American Netflix adaptation. I'm not even joking. It's a crime against cinema. Everyone involved should serve jail time, starting with the writer.
Can you do it with Donald Trump, boys, please?
I'm telling you right now that everyone involved with the Netflix adaptation of Death Note should serve jail time in China.
Not me. Not me. I haven't seen it. Thanks the Lord. I will never see it after your recommendation.
Don't. Well, to give you an idea, the main character's name in that one is Light Turner because it's a white guy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm not joking. Now, I will say this much: there is one good thing in that movie, and that is Willem Dafoe's portrayal as Ryuk. It's actually good.
All right.
That's another proof that not always a good cast make a good movie.
Well, that movie had a terrible cast, save for one. I mean, there was
Well,
nothing
but that
good.
one's supposed to be the one, you know?
Yeah.
And that takes me, so let's go to the next subject of the show you want to present it. It's called Anime Awakening, sorry. You know, my co-host and my co-host are not prepared today, but uncover the allure of the anime and its journey to the biggest screen. We'll live live in the live-action adaptation of popular anime series like Attack on the Titan, and Dead Note, discussing the cultural impact on fans' reactions.
So here's the thing about live action adaptations of anime, particularly ones made by Hollywood. So there's a book that I own. It's one of the best books I've ever written. It's called Anime Explosion, and it's all about. Now, this is an older version. So this mostly has to do with anime from the 80s and 90s. The updated versions probably have more contemporary things. But the biggest thing people don't get about anime in the West, anime until very, very recently was never designed for international consumption. It was always, and to this day, very much of it is aimed at Japanese people. So
Right.
adaptations are already problematic because as any of us who grew up in the US in, the 90s and early 2000s, localization. Now Mexico was fortunate. Mexico didn't have a lot of, it's my understanding, Mexico and Latin America didn't have a lot of localization. They had dubs, but it wasn't like
No. We consume international movies more than like local movie, domestic movies. Sorry, guys, I got a red alert from my other assistant saying that we suck because we forgot one animated adventure that became a movie that was really good. The Transformers.
I I
Well,
It was a cartoon. It
yeah,
was a
some
cartoon.
I think some
good.
people would debate on the great part.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
not bad.
Oh, I don't know. I
It's
didn't watch them. I don't know.
You
I
haven't
can't judge.
seen a star. I just saw the last one, and at the ending, spoiler alert, they connected to G.I. Joe, and I kind of like that. So that's what I like. Anyway, I just got that comment here from one of our followers that they're listening to the podcast pre-recorded because they work for us. So it's not good. So sorry. Going back to so I do you
Oh.
have any ideas about other animes that became a movie?
Well, so what I was going to say though is what happens a lot again, particularly with Hollywood, and anime tends to have a lot of fantastic elements that just, for the most part, just don't translate well to the big screen and live action. And you mentioned Ghost in the Shell earlier. I knew that one was doomed to failure when they, and this is kind of inherent to anime, that one was doomed to failure when they cast Scarlett Johansson as the lead because Motoko, I know the anime style Motoko looks white and Anglo, but then that gives the inevitable question, should Motoko be Japanese? Because technically she is, and that one they even
What's
kind of
her
have
name?
Motoko.
Do you need to ask?
I'm sorry,
Her
Motoko.
name is Jose. Should he be Latino? No. Please make him German.
Well, but here's the out they had. Technically, she's a literal ghost in the shell, so her body can be whatever. But in this day and age, but that again, that's part of the inherent problem.
Sorry. Hey, come on, Alexander. Gotta be sharp, bro.
I did it.
But yes, I do recommend if you're an anime fan, read this book. But as we've gone over some, I'm trying to see if there's any live action. Well, here's the other one. This is one of the worst adaptations. Was Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah,
Jesus
it sucks.
Christ.
I mean, no redeeming qualities.
I got one. I just thought about one. Maybe I'm wrong because it's not my specialty. But you guys remember the Super Campeones in Spanish, the Soccer Champions in English? I think that was the name. And they did an adaptation called Shanghai Soccer.
Oh, Shaolin Soccer.
Shanghai Soccer.
Right.
Have you guys seen that movie?
Okay, that was pretty awesome.
It was really bad, but awesome. It was so bad that it became good, dude. But everything was based in the animated show. I don't remember the name in English, to be honest with you. I was in Latin America. It was released probably in the late 90s. And over there was called the Super Champs. I think it was Champs. And it was a soccer team, just that they do all magical things like
Yeah.
the one in Shaolin. But that is something that comes to my mind. I don't remember other ones. You remember something, Alexander?
I'm really not a huge anime fan, so like I know the basics, like Dragon Ball and One Piece, like all the big ones.
One
And I
Piece is
just
fucking awesome in Netflix.
I
One
haven't
Piece
watched.
is really good.
I'm
It's
not
really
I'm
good.
not a I'm not really into it. Like
Yeah, that's kind of the boat I'm in. I didn't like One Piece, the anime or the manga, so I don't.
I
I'm
never liked the anime. I like the live one. Actually, couldn't sleep last night till 4 a.m. in the morning, and the only thing that I could watch was that, and it wasn't that bad. I guess to be watching at 4 a.m. in the morning is eating junk food is good.
I did. It's actually on your list, Virus, but one, and I think this might be the secret to doing live action
It's a
anime.
production list, Jake. Don't blame me for the good or the bad. It's
No,
a
no, no, no.
production
I
list.
this is a good.
Blame Camilo.
Okay, Camilo. Camilo, is it Camilo or Camilo? His pronunciation.
Camilo.
Camilo. Okay, so Camilo had. I just totally
Hey,
Americanized
don't
that.
suffer. Don't suffer is the power amplifier.
Okay, right. So he has a movie on the list though that actually I think might be the secret to adapting anime to the big screen and not doing a direct adaptation but kind of an offshoot. Detective Pikachu was a very, very well done project, but it wasn't them just taking Pokemon and putting it on the big screen in live action. They took the Pokemon universe and did a side story that worked. It worked way better than I thought it was going to.
I never watched it. It's Ryan Reynolds, right?
As Pikachu,
Right.
yes, and it's his performance is the highlight of it, but the whole thing was pretty well done. And I even said, I was like, well, how are they going to do the Pokemon? Because you can't do like super realistic, otherwise it loses some of the magic. But if it looks too cartoony, it's not going to integrate well. It'll look like Who Framed Roger Rabbit in a bad way. But I think they did as good of a job as they possibly could have done.
Right. Let's, as you guys know, we don't see anime. No, I used to be a fan of anime, but
A
after
lot.
watching Akira in Spanish, Akira, that is like one of my favorites movies. As a film director, yeah, that's fantastic.
It's so good.
My fourth tour, I remember my first tour in America. Actually, I was wearing a red jacket in honor of that. It didn't have the peel because I didn't want to be too obvious, but I got that picture. I love it because I'm like 30 pounds less that I have that. But let's jump to the next one, and this will be probably better for us. Gaming Galore. I love the titles. Good job, Camilo. Gaming Galore. Explore the thrilling real video game adaptation from the action-packed Warcraft to the adventurous Tomb Raider. We analyze the challenge of translating interactive gaming experience into immersive cinematic adventures.
See, that's very tough to do, and there have been some examples. Warcraft was one. I don't think they completely missed the mark, but it wasn't. As a fan of Warcraft, they got a lot of the lore right, but there was I can't put my finger on it. There was something about it that just like it felt like it was about a 7 out of 10 as far as
Yeah,
getting
but
the.
I don't know if you had the chance to watch Street Fighter, the one that I sent you the link.
I've started. I haven't finished it yet, but see that
But
one that's
that
good.
one is that's so good. Remember we saw it, Alexander, the one made by fans. That's
Right.
something that I think is something that people needs to watch because it's fantastic. I think when we talk about that, that's episode 3 or 4. The link is over there to another YouTube channel that somebody uploaded. Uh, we can avoid the new successful thing in HBO. You know, you guys know what I'm talking about. Zombies, a guy,
Oh, The
a
Last
little
of
girl.
Us.
Right.
Yeah, of course. I didn't want to say it, but The Last of Us is really good and even didn't make it to the big screen, right? Now with the streaming services, I want to believe that HBO can be considered big screen. Um, I don't know if you guys think about something else. I got a list. If you want to jump into something,
Well,
like you say, Warcraft, go
Mortal
ahead.
Kombat. See, I came
Good.
Really?
prepared.
Mortal
I know you
Kombat.
can prepare. I saw that.
I so fun, and you have to remember, way back in 1995, there hadn't been a successful movie based on a video game, so they were very hesitant. And actually, that's New Line at the time, New Line Cinema was it was smaller and they were much more willing to take risks, you know, and it was a hit because, oh my God, they took the video game and they were like, what is the video game about? Okay, let's construct a story that won't piss off the fans, but is easy enough to follow for general audiences and put it in a movie. And
It's a really bad movie, the original one.
no, it's not. It's not
You're a
really
fan.
bad. It's just Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, but let's be real here for a second, because to be fair, you're probably right. I'm not defending Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That's a piece of shit. But
Yeah.
What's bad about the original Mortal Kombat?
Everything.
Well, no, that's a cop-out answer. What's bad about it?
I mean, to be honest with you, I watched it once, half of it, and I took it away and I destroyed it from my mind. That's how bad it could be. To be honest, it's not like
Yeah.
I can take your reference. The effects were really cheesy. The story was really cheesy. The way that they follow Johnny Cage is really stupid. So that's Johnny
Well-
Cage, right? I'm not a fan of.
Lyndon
Sorry.
Ashby made that movie, man. Those are
It's-
$500 sunglasses, asshole.
Right.
You
like
see,
Kang is the main protagonist of the story, the first one, you know. So one thing I really liked about Mortal Kombat, the first movie, is that you have these three characters, these three human people, you know, like they get dragged into this alternate dimension Mortal Kombat tournament. They have no powers at all. They just have like their fighting prowess, and just right at the end of the movie, Liu Kang actually, you know, has his fireball power, you know, at the end, because he like kind of he grows into it, you know.
Liu Kang. Yeah, I was confusing Liu Kang with Johnny Cage. Sorry, my apologies.
Right. So that, I mean, to me that's character growth, you know, that
Yeah.
opens up material for sequels.
Yeah, I
But
like
don't you
it.
think that they look too much into blood sport?
Well,
Well,
you have
you-
to these characters, you know, like you can't just have them. That's a problem with the new Star Wars movies, you know, like the Rey character, she's just so good at everything. It's hard to relate to someone like that, you know.
No.
Like they succeed at everything they try for the first time. That's not realistic. Like people, we want to relate to characters because they fail and because they go above it, you know,
Yeah,
Because why we fall?
so we can stand up.
because some asshole tripped us. No, but you know, it's funny you mentioned Bloodsport though. That makes sense though, because you got to. Okay, so this is going back. I don't know. I'm sure Alexander knows this, but
The Kumite.
well, the original Mortal Kombat game. So John Tobias wrote a treatment. So basically, the game would follow the Ninja Clan, the Lin Kuei. But then Midway was like, "No, we want you guys to make a game based upon Jean-Claude Van Damme," and it was essentially ripping off Bloodsport, which is why,
yeah.
which is why Johnny Cage is wearing the same outfit in the first game,
I
because
didn't
that was
know
supposed to.
that. I didn't
Yeah.
know that because I saw it all the time, but I didn't know that it was on purpose.
Actually, if you take a look at the arcade game, at the original Mortal Kombat arcade game, on the side there's a picture of Johnny Cage, and you can just tell that it's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, but I couldn't. I didn't know for sure. I was too young, guys.
Yeah,
You're
but
older than me.
this
You
is
gotta remember that.
But this is a fun fact. So the original game was supposed to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme game, but licensing fell through. So then they went back to the original like fantasy fighting tournament. However, when they were going to make the movie, they offered the part of Johnny Cage to Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he turned it down to do the Street Fighter movie.
right,
Wow.
which is really bad.
That's hilarious to me. But
I don't understand how Raul Julia, after being such a great actor, finished his career being Bison in the worst character ever done.
He actually did a good job of it, you know, like
He did a good job, but it was
Right.
a really bad movie.
you see, for you it was a really bad day, but for him it was just a Tuesday.
I don't
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
But
What about Tomb Raider, guy? Tomb Raider. What do you think about Tomb Raider?
I wasn't a fan, so I didn't play or see the movie. But I heard they did okay.
It did really good for Angelina Jolie career.
Yeah.
So Angelina Jolie did a really good job, but I mean nothing. You guys remember
Oh,
2010 Prince of Persia, The Sands of
yeah.
Time?
Yep.
What do you
They
guys think about it? Didn't love it? Yeah.
Nah. Same with
like
Assassin's Creed.
Sonic the Hedgehog,
it's funny.
Not bad. It's not
not
terrible.
bad.
I mean,
It's a
Jim Carrey.
seven.
He's just Jim Carrey's like so good at everything he does. Like it's hard not to like watching him on screen. You know.
Yeah. And kudos though. I forget the studio that made it. I apologize, and I know this. But kudos to
Fox.
them. Yeah, fuck. Kudos to them for listening to the audience because I don't know if you guys
Yeah, I
remember,
remember that they changed the whole thing.
Sonic.
and they absolutely should have because that was terrible. And I just like the fact that because it's a fine line because the internet is a place where people will there's going to be some section of the fan base that's going to crap on anything,
Right.
but just the level of hatred that character design, that artwork got, and they didn't pull a Kathleen Kennedy. They said, okay, we hear you, we're going to change it, and they
I
changed it for
love
the
that
better.
phrase.
But
Candle,
I
candle.
just want to say one more thing about Mortal Kombat because I don't want people to think I forgot about it. The 2021 movie, that movie was so horrendously bad. We did a podcast when it came out. I was the only one. It was so funny because two friends and I went and saw it together. And we came out of the theater. They were like, "Oh, that was great. That was awesome." I said, "That fucking sucked. What movie did you watch?" I actually jokingly call it Mortal Kombat Preparation H, because there's no tournament. It's all about them. It's all about them preparing for the
It's really
tournament.
bad.
It's so
It's
bad.
really bad.
No tournament. They haven't had a tournament yet. Goro's dead. Melina's dead. Count Kung Lao's dead. And for some reason, after breaking Kano's dead, for some reason, after breaking every rule prior to the tournament, Shang Tsung is somehow still alive, and Raiden didn't say, okay, you broke the rules, die.
I never liked Raiden. The only thing I liked about Raiden was the only character I used to be able to play with. I wasn't a Mortal Kombat guy, to be honest. Sub Zero was cool. Scorpion, come here.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
I
and
remember.
Sub-Zero's dead, which that was
Oh,
supposed to
really?
happen. That was supposed to happen at the tournament.
Well, I never liked him. He was really cold with me.
Hey,
Um,
that
Yeah, they
Scorpion's hot though.
with it. They went too far with the story, and they just
Yeah,
didn't know how
yeah,
so
because they're to be like brothers or
yeah.
like
yeah,
That was the other weird thing. And this is me being too particular, but so oh gosh, I forget the actor's name again. The guy who played Scorpion. I'm actually a big fan of his, so I feel like really stupid that I forgot his name. He
you know that we
speaks.
support you in everything in this
Yeah,
podcast.
basically, but
If you feel stupid, we believe in you.
yeah, yeah, but the actor speaks perfect English, and yet I know he's playing somebody from feudal Japan. The only he says "get over here" after he comes back from hell, and then proceeds to speak entirely in Japanese. It's like
That's funny.
maybe he downloaded Duolingo in hell and learned English. Like it's like I
No,
get
he
it.
was bored. He was really bored in hell, and he played the arcade over there.
Okay, so maybe that's
He
why.
wanted to sound cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then
So
don't even get me started on Cole Young. That's a whole
no,
podcast in and of
that's a
itself.
whole podcast. I know you're a fan. So let's go for the last part of the podcast. Not the last part, but the last topic that I want to talk is melodies on the move. Discover the power of music in movies as we explore songs that have become iconic movie soundtracks. From the emotional impact of My Heart Will Go On to the infectious energy of Happy, we'll discuss how this song enhances the storytelling experience. All those songs that there were tracks, and then the director brought them to the movie and they became the movie. That's what that is about. Obviously, we need to talk about My Heart Goes On. It's a really cheesy song, but everybody knows it. And there's not a way that you think about Titanic without the song. And that's
yeah.
what this section is about. Um, that's not my particular the list that was provided by production, right? That is always notes, and we're really thankful to Nino and to Camilo, right? They give us a list, but I want to go a little farther because they didn't put a one that for me is iconic in the movie. Armageddon. I don't want to miss a thing.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah.
Look with the explosion behind me.
I was
But
just
Right?
about to say that it was going to be hard to top "My Heart Will Go On" as a being a symbolic, like an iconic song to a movie. But I don't want to miss a thing. Might actually be it.
it's up
Actually,
there.
that's the one that for me, because and don't take me wrong, I was really young when Titanic came out. We were young, right? But it was for me. It was just a cheesy movie that it was like, growing up, you see Leonardo DiCaprio being so pretty, you don't like the guy. Now I love his work, and I know, but being young is like, well, what every girl like, oh, Leonardo, in my perspective, right?
Well, I've always liked Leonardo, even from Growing Pains. I remember watching Growing Pains and like recognizing him from that series. I love Titanic. I think it's a great movie. I think the thing about the song is that we heard it so much in like it was everywhere, man. That it just made you sick to listening to it again.
Because it's awesome.
That it's bad, but it's just like you were like, come on, give it a rest. I mean, like again with this song, because it
Yeah,
was so.
Camilo just made a note. Isn't that good that we have?
I
Good job,
know.
Camilo.
Good job.
So yeah, I mean, the problem that not even Celine Dion want to sing that again because she's sick of the song. Now
Yeah,
it made her career.
I'm sure she's
She's sick
really
of it.
tired of cashing all those royalty checks. Oh, woe is me. I guess they want me to sing again, fanning herself with $100 bills.
I
Please
can't
stop.
believe how a person that has so much money can sit down and eat a fucking taco, dude. Come on, eat something, woman. You need to fucking eat.
She's one of the greats. I mean, her voice. She's one of the greats, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'm just playing with. But like I say, Armageddon can miss a thing that actually is a cover from a country song that it was readapted by Aerosmith. And this is good because we've been talking about reimagining songs. That's a perfect example. Like, again, new single coming. Come on, Alexander. Come on, bro. You're
And the other.
you can look anyway. About our new single coming in the November 4th, Black Hole Sun, inspired to respect and love to Chris Cornell, and of course our admiration to Soundgarden. We reimagined the song. Jake LaRay listened to it, Alexander Ray listened to it, and it's pretty fucking awesome. I'm really proud of it. And it's the first song that is coming under Again and Forever band, the new name. So that's really important for us.
That's
I have
such
a
a
list,
that's such
but
a
I
good
got another
example,
for
yeah.
you. I'm gonna put you another example that is in those tier of I don't want to miss a thing, Armageddon, Titanic, My Heart Will Go On, Eye of the Tiger by Survivor with Rocky.
Yeah.
That one is in that level.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Is that Rocky 2? Is that in Rocky? Is that actually in Rocky? I think it's in Rocky.
In
It's Rocky 3.
Rocky
Rocky
3.
Yeah,
3.
Hulk Hogan, right?
Yeah, Thunder Lips, brother.
Right. A pitiful Balboa.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah,
What was the name of Clumber?
Clubber
What's the name of
Lang.
Miss Clumber Lang? Yeah, Clumber Lang. That's so cool, man. So I can imagine Rocky 3 without the Eye of the Tiger. It's so iconic, and I know it's not in the first one, but the other movies. I mean, obviously they couldn't have a Titanic part 2
I mean,
or an
you listen
Armageddon.
There is a Titanic part 2. Not in that continuity, but
Yeah, but come on, though. I know about that movie. It's one movie that I will never watch. I know about that movie.
Do you want to know a fun fact about Rocky 3 and that song though?
Please.
So you've seen the Karate Kid, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
So that song, You're the Best Around, was supposed to be what Eye of the Tiger was in Rocky 3. But they ended up going with Eye of the Tiger, and then they had that song available. So when the Karate Kid comes around, they were like, oh, yeah, we'll take it. And then that became kind of iconic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Not
it
but
is.
it's
Karate
like
Kid is Peter Cetera. I am a man who will
fight
fight
for
for your
your
honor.
honor.
That song is fantastic with Karate Kid. That was my other one to go. The Karate Kid and that
Yeah.
song. What was the name of the song?
Glory of
I just
Love.
sing it. Glory of Love.
Glory of Love. Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go one deep that probably you don't know, Jake, and you obviously know because of the age difference here. John Gunn's
Blaze of Glory.
Bon Jovi, Blaze of Glory. That's
I
an
love it.
iconic song.
Yeah. So good.
Probably part of my rockstar crap is because I got the cassette of Bon Jovi, and I sing with a screwdriver right in front of a mirror, pretend I was like really a young kid. But I
Wait,
remember got that memory.
especially because at that time, John Bon Jovi was, I think he started his solo career at the time. And like Blaze
Yeah,
of Glory was like people, we knew he was the real thing, you know, like he's just so good. Even if he's not in Bon Jovi anymore, you know?
what about we call Bon Jovi the band for 5 years? And if it doesn't work in 5 years, we change it to your name. You guys remember Saturday Night Live? How are
Yeah.
we gonna call the band Bon Jovi? But that's
Yeah.
your name.
Right.
Would you consider Ghost because the song was written for the movie? Would you consider? I'd consider Ghostbusters an iconic song, even though it was
is.
written for.
It is. It is. Of course, it was a ripoff of another song, so that really disturbed me a little.
Yeah, but
But yeah, it was a really good
yeah
song.
there
It's because we're
there are
songs.
people. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, these are songs that wouldn't be as big as they are if they weren't tied to the movie. Those,
And the movie weren't as good as they were if they didn't have a musical reference.
Yeah,
So it's
right.
like the perfect matches.
yeah, but there are people who know the Ghostbusters song but have never seen the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's what I'm
friends.
saying. It's a little
Yeah,
catch thing.
I'm not friends with these people, but they exist. And then with Halloween just passing us by, there's the Halloween theme.
Yeah, but it's not a song, bro. It's a theme.
That's a thong. It's a thong. It's a song.
Well, get your man of the gutter, Jake. It's a song. Are you having things with Mike Myers now? What is wrong with you?
Hey, listen,
Anyway,
I have a couple of songs in my head that are
yeah.
just what we're talking about. Okay, the first one is "The Power of Love" from Back to the Future. I mean, you just listen to the song and you
Yeah,
immediately
bro. How I
start
forgot about that. It's the power of love.
right,
And the best part
Nice.
is you don't need a
Good call.
credit card.
right. You're trained. We know that, and a lot of people, I bet, don't know who Huey Lewis is. But they know the song from the movie,
Yeah, of course.
especially nowadays. So that's one for me. And then there's this other one, and I absolutely love this movie. Like I have memories from being very, very, very young, like maybe 5 or 6 years old, and watching this movie and just loving it with all my heart. Remember Mannequin?
I love that song, dude.
Now, that's such a great song, man.
I think you cut out. Can you repeat that? I think you cut out.
Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now.
Starship, baby.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
It's hard to think of a better or like greater song than that one, because
And you know what I like when the songs are a song and the director bring it to that is not created for that, because
right,
obviously for this generation we can talk about uh, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, right, singing the song but that's a remake,
but
and the song was
what we haven't mentioned, a lot of these songs back in the day, they had like the music video for the song included scenes from the movie.
Well, you had
that was amazing.
Hero from the original Spider-Man, which I got into an argument with a friend who was actually right. A lot of people say it's Nickelback. Even the radio said it was Nickelback. Technically, it's not Nickelback.
It's
It's
Chet
not
Kroger,
Nickelback.
Yep.
Josie something or other, right?
Yep.
The guy from Solar.
Exactly. Yep.
I love that song.
Oh, it's great, but like you said, it has
another song came to my mind and it just went away. You guys keep talking. Oh yeah, Uh, Great song, and I just I don't know. The list is good, but fuck your list, guys. Uh, where is my mind when the the
Right.
the
In Fight
Fights
Club.
Club?
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another one that is iconic.
Yeah. It
The
really
Pixies.
it song. It did. It made the song into an international, worldwide uh, phenomenon.
And I can listen to "Where Is My Man" without imagining Tyler Dol. Tyler, what was Lena? Tyler what?
Tyler Durden.
Tyler Durden.
Jordan. Tyler Jordan
Yeah.
looking at the window, right? It's like it's iconic in
Which
your mind.
name
Well,
because we never get his real name in the movie. You
yeah.
know.
How about
Uh,
Lose Yourself from 8 Mile? That became pretty iconic overnight.
yeah,
I,
but you know what? That song was made for the movie.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the songs that they're. I mean, of course, I'm not gonna take it. That's probably the only hip hop song that I adore. Right?
yeah, but you
Lose
know
your.
what? I'm not sure when they write that, like when they wrote those songs. I'm not sure they knew how big they were gonna be. You know what I mean? Like you write the
Oh
song and
yeah,
you tie it up to the material, but you don't expect it to be as big as they were.
I
You know?
know. It's like the. But what I'm saying is like the Power of Love was already released. It was there, and it was taken by the director to
Right.
make the movie better. That's what I say. And obviously, we can move on without. Sorry that I make my funny voice. Yeah, I mean, my heart will go. Sorry, I will always love you by Whitney Houston was
From the
the
bodyguard. Yeah.
yeah, of course, the movie exists because of the good song. It was the opposite. Whitney
Right.
Houston was in the top of the charts, one single after another. She was a beast, right? Snoring and singing, right? Injecting and singing. She was in the top, and then she
Being
made
whacked.
this movie. I mean, somebody need to pay the smack, right? So this movie became the movie what it was because of that, because of
Because of the
the
song. I agree.
yeah.
What is I'm blanking on the song. What's the and I know what the song is. The song from Ghost.
Oh, Unchained
On
Melody.
chat
That's
on
that's
chat.
it. That's
That's
another one.
another one. That's another one that you listen to it
Dude,
and
such a classic moment. I cry. I literally cried in the movie theater when I watched that
these
movie.
classic moments. It's on my hands, Alexander. It's the ghost behind me. Sorry. Uh, there's another, obviously, Pretty Woman from the movie Pretty, right?
Of
That
course,
went to
it writes the
that's
song.
something I can. And Lady in Red, they put
Ooh,
that
yeah.
song too. Um, uh, I don't know. I'm just thinking because we have a list and I can share with you guys. And many of them we said already. My heart will go on. I will always love you. Eye of the Tiger. Footloose by Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, of
Kenny
course.
Loggins is the shit.
So it pretty much the entire Top Gun soundtrack is included in that too. Kenny Loggins, Danger Zone. Come on, like
Yeah,
Dude, Kenny Loggins is a legend in America and
dude,
in France. But
dude,
nobody knows him, dude, outside, and that's a shame because well, Canada too. But he's such a good talent. There's a song from him that is when I don't remember. It was in the selection when I was a solo artist to make the song. I remember we reviewed one from Kenny Loggins. And I rehearsed it. I rehearsed it. I don't remember right now. It's been a couple of years, but he's a fantastic guy. Happy by Pharrell Williams. This I got a story now, but wait, I got a story for that. And this is with the most love and respect for this guy that Flashdance. Thank you,
Flashdance.
Camilo. Flashdance. What a feeling.
right.
Anyway, thank you, Camilo. So I got a
Basically,
story with Happy. I'm sitting down with Benjamin Wright, that I call him Pops, and I love him dearly. For the people that doesn't know what Benjamin Wright was, he's been one of the most important and influential people in my life. The guy right now is 75 years old. I was in his studio where he got a couple of friends in his life, one called Quincy Jones. So together they produced Bad of Michael Jackson, right? And Billie Jean. And actually, Benjamin Wright is the one that said, let's use Michael Jackson beat when he's describing the song to create a beat. That was him input to music. Imagine how big this person is. You go into his studio and he's Michael Jackson, Grammys, well, that he won, obviously, Outcast, Justin Timberlake. And it was funny because I went there and I showed him a song that it wasn't even 1% of how happy he was. And he told me, you know what? Brown Cat, because he called me Brown Cat. And he talks like Morgan Freeman. Listen, Brown Cat, well, in my mind, you are a grown up now. You can't be singing song about being happy and being loved. I remember when we did Billie Jean, we told Michael, you need to stop singing things like that. So he sang the song of from a movie, Bernie the Rat. You guys remember that movie, Bernie? It was a huge rat on the sewer of New York, and the soundtrack was by Michael Jackson, right? And then we did Billie Jean, that album, right? And if you listen to that album, he's not nice anymore. So we took like 10 songs away. Remember when I was working in those songs, Alexander? And I'm like, okay, I need to go deep, right? And I need to hit you. I need to kiss you. I need to tag you. And then a month later, Happy hits the charts. Huge, bro. And Benjamin told me, yes, you know what, Brown Cat? Maybe I'm too old. Right? He's an amazing guy. I mean, I don't have any regrets in my life with that guy. He's always been when you met a person of that magnitude, that he's bigger than life, and he treats you like a, this is gonna sound really arrogant on my part. Please don't take me wrong, because everything is being. I don't know if I mentioned this, Jake, but I own a waterless car wash. Really? Don't
Really?
ask me how it works. um, so I bought my first. I'm not gonna say what brand, but my first sports car, and he was so influential on me that I called him and said, "Pops, I made it." And I drove to wherever he lives. I'm not gonna say where, in LA, and being just surgery of the hip, bro, with a cane. He told me, "You're gonna give me a ride in that." And he jumped into the car. Really hard for him to get in because the car is super low. And we went around, and like a father told me, just be careful, because I don't want to hear the news that something happened to you. So that's so cool, man, right? Because he's the fucking Michael Jackson producer, Justin Timberlake producer. I'm not talking about Uncle Tommy, right, in Indiana. Just kidding, Jake. Telling me don't use the four wheel. But anyway, so Happy is another of the song, right? Obviously, we can move on, but this song was created for the movie Let It Go, obviously from Frozen.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
an iconic song.
I feel like
Uh,
Disney's kind of a cop out because most Disney films have at least one song that becomes
yeah, but
iconic.
Let It Go, I remember that Let It Go wasn't made for the movie. I just remember.
No, it
I think
was.
it's a country movie. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Maybe I
no,
got it wrong.
I remember they did tons of interviews with the lyricists that were hired by Disney. But you know, another one, this one might be less iconic now, but at the time it was all over the radio when Pearl Harbor came out. There You'll Be by Faith Hill. It wasn't written for the movie, but they put it in. It
Which one
was
is that? Can you sing a little bit for us, please?
never.
Hey, I try. I really try, audience. I really try.
You will never know. Not happening.
Uh, are you a chicken, McFly?
Nobody calls me chicken needles. Nobody. It's so funny. You keep bringing up Back to the Future. One of my recommendations at the end has to do with Back to the Future. And I'm very excited and
Absolutely.
disappointed in myself because I haven't sent it to you yet, and you'll love it. But the entire
But that
movie,
that you mentioned that. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, the entire movie, Dirty Dancing, tons of iconic
Yeah.
music.
Yeah. Lovely.
Look, I'm
Right.
doing the jump.
Oh, you look like you had the time of your life.
Because I had the time of my life.
And I owe it all to you.
I made it. I made it. You know what? You remind me. I was hesitating First of all, congratulations. Um,
Yeah, said it'll never happen, and then 5 minutes later.
like never. Yeah, that happened with a lot of my ex dates. Oh, and I will never do it the first date. And look at that.
You know what? Maybe
What?
that's maybe
Ow.
that maybe that's why you don't like Harry Potter, because every time that happened to you, you ended up.
No, maybe I like it. I don't know. Anyway, so recommendations time, guys. I don't know if you wanna. You have another song that comes to
if
your mind.
if we keep going, they'll keep coming to us. Just leave your, if you think of one, leave it in the comments and share it with the world.
You know what? That will be fucking awesome, audience. If you've been here for 2 hours already with us, fucking share it with people. Don't be selfish.
Spread us like the herpes.
For a nanos- for a nanosecond, I felt like the Undertaker. I don't know why.
What's
Oh,
Who
what's
was
the
the Undertaker?
what's the Linkin Park song at the end of Transformers?
New divide, isn't it?
I know that it's really big among Transformers fans and Linkin Park fans, because it's right at the end.
Really?
It's a good song.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Linkin Park, but I never felt like that. Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's
there's a movie called uh shit, I wrote the movie. I was gonna make a joke of a movie I haven't released. What was the musical that I've been working, Alexander? What if I should? Forget about it. Forget about the
Oh,
comment,
don't
people.
you forget about me, Breakfast Club.
No, no,
right.
no. I actually writing a musical. It's been a couple of years, and it's a musical. And I was gonna make a joke about it because it uses some of the Beatles songs. Thanks to our friend Shaquille O'Neal, we're gonna be able to use them. Don't ask me how I know the guy, because I don't, but I know his people, right? And let's go to the favorite moment of the show when I disappear.
Your
Uh
silhouette was still
let
there,
yeah, there.
so we can't get rid of you. Rid of you.
Ready? What? All right. Let's go for recommendations.
Alrighty. So I guess I'll go
So
first.
please go first.
My movie recommendation, I've already mentioned it. If you haven't seen it, the 1977 Rankin Bass adaptation of The Hobbit. It was the first adaptation of any kind of The Lord of the Rings outside of audio, because I believe they did a couple radio dramas in England, but this was the first movie. Still holds up. It's a great kids movie, but it's not so juvenile that adults wouldn't enjoy it. I still watch it probably at least once a year, and like I said, when I have children, they will watch it. It's good. It's a great starting point. Highly recommend it. Pretty
I'm a
good
little afraid
soundtrack too.
when you promise to have children and damage society like that. I'm a little afraid, but I love you, so I will support that idea. Children's, what is that, Alexander? That's what Americans do to have children's. That's what economy can do for them. Yeah,
Eventually,
Alexander and me will never have kids, and we're not married, just because it sounds really weird. Any recommendations for you, Alexander?
yeah. Speaking of translating material from its source into movies, Watchmen. Did you watch the Watchmen
Yeah,
movie? It's
yeah.
actually a shot for shot of the comic book. It's
Very
Yes.
good.
it's like amazingly good. The way
Yeah,
you
it's
can
really
watch,
good.
just like you like pause it at the right time, and you have the exact same frame in the comic book.
I think that that's a masterpiece from a comic book because what you're
Yeah,
saying is really important.
wasn't
You,
easy. I'm pretty sure it wasn't easy. Especially because Alan Moore, the writer of Watchmen, he specifically made the point about how it was impossible to take his graphic novel into a live action movie.
That's kind of a foolish thing to say though, because the graphic novel is just a storyboard at its core.
Right. That
yeah,
it didn't ended up being that for the movie. But
And,
just
and yet
it's
they still
just
screw it up all the time.
yeah.
yeah, it's not perfect. We have to
No.
say that, but it's really good.
No, that one is good. That one is good. I'm gonna go for the other side of the spectrum because for some reason I'm in a good mood today, and I know I've been joking a lot. If you don't like it, well, fucking curse. But if you like it, just keep following and sharing with us. The Blue Harvest. Family Guy made an special episode, like a movie of a Star Wars, and I don't know, we were talking and just came to my mind something that you said, Jake, and it wasn't in my recommendation. But you, if you like or dislike Star Wars, but you know the movie, and then you go and watch the Blue Harvest, you're gonna pee your pants.
It's
Because
very
Family
good.
Guy, Seth is
Yeah,
one of the most creative minds
yeah.
that I ever seen work. Is brutal how he can do with his voices, his singing voice, his adaptations, his everything from that guy is really funny. So
He's a
uh,
true genius, Seth MacFarlane.
he's a true genius. He is a true genius. So
Every time I hear somebody like trash Seth MacFarlane, I just look at him and they say the same thing every time. I'm like, oh, how many of your TV shows are on Fox?
Right,
yeah, how many?
right.
How fast can you become an icon, right? Like him, his work, his life is like resumed in 20 years. That his accomplishment usually take 40 to 45 years in the industry being successful. So he brought to us a new version of a Star Trek, right? In his own perception. He got Family Guy. How many seasons we have from Family Guy? 24, 25?
Yeah,
I can't even
20.
count. And then not to mention American Dad, which is an underrated gem.
Right, right.
American Dad is amazing. The alien is one of the funniest thing ever.
No,
Happy
but I
there's
can
a
throw a
family guy.
no, but I can throw a world class hissy fit.
uh, and his movies, guys, A Thousand Ways to Die in the West.
Love
Right.
It's
that.
like the
It's great.
joke about the handkerchief when she's out of. Oh my god, that's so good.
My
Uh,
favorite my favorite joke in that movie is the one where he's talking about how terrible of a sheep farmer he is, and he was like, I lost one sheep and I found her here, and when I found her, she'd made $20.
dude, when the ship is
It's on the
in the
roof.
top of the roof. Yeah, it's a really good movie.
In the
I
Old
think
West.
that he's the Mel Brooks of this generation.
That's fair.
His his humor is right in there. And go ahead. I got another. Just because what I say, I got 10% of battery, guys. So let's wrap it up soon. It's like 20 minutes. Don't worry about it.
All right.
So go ahead. Other recommendation.
So this isn't quite a TV show, but it's kind of a series because they've made 3 of them so far. Very underrated. You can catch them on HBO Max. Is the Mortal Kombat Legends movies?
Okay.
The animation is it's really, especially considering it's not state of the art, but it's pretty good. And I wish they'd make more of them because if you like your Mortal Kombat bloody and like very much like the games, it's very good. But the story is on point. The acting's good. It's it's especially if you're a big Scorpion fan because Scorpion is like the central character of these movies, which is okay. But it's very good. I highly recommend them.
Nice. Alexander, you got another recommendation?
I have one. It's based on a video game, not on a console video game, but it's a PC game. It's not live action. It's an animated series. It's called Arcane. It's the League of
Yeah.
Legends series.
I was gonna
It's
tell you they're so good.
man, it's even beyond belief because I think it might be perfect in every aspect of it, from the story to the character development. And this is funny. A lot of people like to complain about race swapping in media. In Arcane, there's a character named Caitlyn. She's like a cop. She's like a, I don't know, like a ranger or something like that. And in the series, she's Asian. They actually changed her I don't know, her makeup in the game to resemble more like an Asian stereotype, and it works out like real good. Like it doesn't have to be, but
What is the
it,
name again for the audience?
it's called Arcane.
It's in Netflix, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
it's a
Yeah.
Netflix production, but it's just
Uh,
so good. You're gonna love it. I mean, I watched it twice.
I'm not a player, and you told me about it, and I watched the show, and just holds by itself. You don't need to be a player to watch it.
Right, 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 right.
Now I'm gonna go with something really weird, guys. Probably 20 years ago, 17, I don't know. I watched one of the. In a time in my life, I just decided not to do movies or commercials, just to focus in singing. And this TV series brought me back and pushed me to move to America. Uh, this show is not in any streaming. It's not. It's not. You need to actually buy the Blu-rays or the DVD on Amazon. That's the only way that you can watch
I
it.
think I know what it is. I
You know
think I
what?
know.
Well, let me finish, because I don't want to tell more. But if you guys are true fans of good writing, good development, and fantastic direction and great acting, I'm gonna let Alexander maybe, because it's really hard nowadays being something as big that is not a way to stream it. And if somebody found or they just put it in a stream, just put it in the comments. So I will just watch it over and over. Do you know what I'm talking about, Alexander?
I think I do. I may be wrong. Is it Sliders?
No. Sliders is in Peacock. Sliders fantastic, dude.
Yeah,
Sliders.
I
No,
love
I'm gonna
Sliders.
go deeper. This is that's a good recommendation though. Those guys can go and watch Sliders. It's called Taken. It's by Steven Spielberg. Look, Jake's
Oh,
face. This is really deep.
Like the movie?
It's Steven
yeah, but
Spielberg, a mini series.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
They did three seasons, I think. Uh, I found the poster for you guys. It was in 2002. It's not a way to find it, but you can go on IMDb, and there's not a way to stream it, at least in America. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the poster tells you everything and nothing at the center. No, you can't. No,
No.
you can't. No, you can't. Anyway, Steven Spielberg presents Taken. The show is about three generations that are affected by an alien visiting Earth. And this, you have the generation one, how the, I don't want to ruin it for people because it's so under the radar that just freaking watch it. I promise you, you won't regret it. It's really got a Steven Spielberg supervision, guys. It's a masterpiece for a reason that I do not understand. Actually, you guys remember Sons of Anarchy? Odie? Odie is there before Sons of Anarchy, right? This is when he became a good actor. Just watch it. Take It is one of my favorite shows ever. And if it's Christmas coming, if you guys want to buy it for me, I'm not talking about you, Alexander and Jake. Actually, and I want to talk about this at the end of the show, but go ahead. That's my recommendation. Take It
Okay,
by
so
Steven Spielberg.
my weird one, I think both of you will love it if you haven't seen it already. So, as a massive fan of Back to the Future, I honestly go back and forth. I always say, depending on my mood, my favorite movie is either Casablanca or Back to the Future, because it's perfect. But as someone who believed it should never be touched again in any way, shape, or form, leave the trilogy alone, I came across a random YouTube video. Are you guys familiar with the guy with glasses, that YouTube channel, the Nostalgia Critic?
Yeah.
Okay, so his umbrella channel, Channel Awesome, they do a series where basically they come up with like what if scenarios for sequels and whatnot. They do a proposal of what they would do for Back to the Future Part 4. And by the time I'm done
Okay.
with it, I wish I could see this movie. So much so that they don't do the whole story, but they do certain scenes and then they kind of break down what story beats they would hit. I don't care how they would do it, if they did it as a novel, as an audio drama, or even if they made it a movie with AI or an animated movie. I want to watch this movie so badly. Virus, I will send it to you because you will absolutely love it.
I'll watch it tonight.
I consider, in my head, it's headcanon. So periodically, I'll go through and watch all the movies. I watch 1, 2, 3, and then I watch that one to complete the story. It is so good. I can't recommend it enough. Again, it's Channel Awesome, but if you go on YouTube and
What do you
search
say? What do you say?
Channel Awesome,
Before that, you say
if you go on
again?
YouTube. Oh, again. But if you search Back to the Future Part 4 idea, it should come up. But I'll
Okay,
send you the link, Virus. It's so good.
amazing. Sorry, I just want to make a correction. Taken is fourth generation, 50 years of a family for the good and the bad, and the determination after contact with aliens. So it goes starting the 50s, right? And then we go to the 2000s and the change of production. Imagine that, controlling everything in production from the 50s to the 2000s. So it's
Right.
really cool, man. Yeah, sorry. And the actors, sorry, I was looking at the actors. Uh, just for a start, sorry, but I started Googling that, and it's Dakota Fanning, just for a start, Joel Grace, John Hawkes, that is an amazing actor, Ryan Horst, like I say, Odie, Eric Close, James McDaniel, Andy Powers, Steve Burton. It goes on and on and on because it's four generations. So when imagine that you know that the end of this season, those characters never gonna come back again because you're in the next generation. So
See,
it's like,
I'm there for it.
yeah. So another recommendation before I go to a funny thing and a really sad thing that happened, and I want to talk about it. So, and another recommendation, guys.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of things I can like think of, but
But not right
some
now. You're not in the mood.
well, I guess just like what we've covered a lot, so that's a lot of material to watch.
I know. So, it's really sad. We need to talk about it because we're on entertainment. This hit hard. Obviously, the pass of Matthew Perry,
Yeah,
Chandler being from Friends.
yeah,
You know what? When famous people pass, it hurts. But when somebody like Matthew Perry, that he was part of our lives for 10 years in the right part of our development, at least in my persona. You guys that follow us see how many references we have for movies from TV shows. I can even start with the reference of Friends,
right.
right? And I'm not a guy that upon dead a lot, but I just want to say that it sucks, really hits hard. And thank you because he made us laugh for 10 years and more. I mean, the other day I was at the gym and they were playing the movie that he did with Zac Efron, and I was
Seven,
laughing. I was
yeah,
17
seven.
again, and a lot of people don't know how big he's for. I mean, of course, he's big for everyone, regardless if he's in this eternal life or in another life. But the way that he support Salma Hayek in her first movie as mainstream, she made a movie with Salma Hayek,
Fools
did the
rush in.
rom-com,
Right.
and that's an inspiration for Jake in his life every day.
Hey man, if Selma Hayek is in it, I'm watching it. Yeah.
No, but I mean, people. We talk about this a lot, but I just want to say thank you, Matthew Perry. Sucks
Yeah,
that you're not here. It's awesome the legacy that you leave us. That's what I want to say.
we love Chandler. He's
My
just
I have a funny story about that. So I didn't watch
Please.
Friends. I didn't watch Friends at all. I've seen a handful of
Okay,
episodes.
this is the end of this podcast.
No, but here's
We're
the
gonna go with you, Matthew.
no, here's the funny part. So I'm a junior. When I'm a junior in high school, my history teacher, I don't know why, I just annoyed the shit out of him. So he called me Chandler
Dude, you
Bing.
haven't watched Friends. What
Well,
the
no,
fuck is wrong
he
with you?
called me Chandler Bing all the time, and I was like, "Who is Chandler Bing?" And he just looks at me.
I can see the reference.
He's like, "You don't watch Friends?" And I was like, "No, I watch good TV." And he was like, "Ah, Chandler."
Okay, just a second. Just for you to say with that tone of voice, who is Chandler Bing? Yes, bro, you are Chandler.
I was 17.
Doesn't matter. I
Yeah,
was
but after
16.
after watching Friends, I was like, "Oh God, I'm Chandler."
Yes, you are Chandler.
it's a good
You
thing.
mentioned it, you're Chandler.
Chandler's great.
Uh, there's a new site uh, that fans can send you gifts. It's really famous in London right now. I'm gonna put the link underneath. If you're a streamer, an influencer, or you wanna do it, you just upload the picture of what you want. It's like your Amazon gift that is a lot of F people put, right, to get free. Here's
Oh, yeah.
like no shame, bro. No, but this is like no shame. I love it because it's no shame. Uh, I discovered from a friend in London, and you put exactly what you want, and people donate for you to buy it. So it's I know it's weird, but it's working in London so much that trust me when I say it here first. Soon it's gonna be a boom in America because there's girls that they pay the rent with guys donating to them. But it's not even for my pictures, no nothing. You go follow the link, you click, you put your credit card, you donate money. That's it. You don't receive anything. You don't receive a service. But in a way, you can be looking really bad. But in a way, you can understand that the utopia. That's how you say it in English. The utopia, la
Utopia.
utopia,
Oh,
the
Utopia.
utopia of societies helping each other and create equality. So I think that's pretty cool. So we're gonna put the link if you want to buy us new guitars for again and forever. A new jacket. I put my favorite shoes over there, and they're pretty awesome. Not because I cannot buy them, it's because are really cool to do something for other people. We are donating for other people as well, and when you create a chain of love and reaction, everything is easier.
If you want to buy me stuff, you can just subscribe and get pictures of my Hobbit feet.
Shh, that's our secret. How do you think we pay this podcast?
Oh, well, we want them to keep paying for it. So come on, let's...
This whole podcast is sponsored by Only Feet.
I I think that exists.
Really? It gotta exist.
Hold on.
Only, yeah,
For sure.
probably. If not, buy the site right now.
Yeah, I know, right?
but
If it does,
actually, I tried to buy.
it doesn't.
Okay, go and buy it. We have a week to buy it. I buy it.
There's feetfinder.com, but okay, no,
but
there's an Instagram profile called Only Feet, but
yeah, but a website.
not that I can see.
I'll buy it in a second. Oh my god, I'll buy it in a second. But anyway, like 3 years ago, I tried to buy Only Fats, and it was taken. I thought it was a great idea to have only fats and only obese people because it's it tastes for everyone. There's nothing
Right.
better than a huge scoop.
Hold on, I'm
If you
looking.
can find it. Alexander was like, there you go. So I guess before we start tripping and say the stupid things, I guess it's time for us to go.
Yeah. So by the way, onlyfeet.com is registered, but it might be available because there is no website attached to it.
Yeah, but if it's registered, some smart ass that is sending him $6,000, I will not buy it.
Yeah, I guarantee OnlyFans owns it, or at least is on the short
And
list.
Camilo is like,
Yeah, Camilo, check that out.
tomorrow Camilo is like, I don't need you guys. I will never see you again. I only feed.
I'm rich.
I'm rich. Thank you, Camilo, production.
Thank you.
Nino. Thank you, Alexander. You're the perfect guest. You're welcome every time. You can be the Coco host every time you want.
You know, maybe when we have Alexander on as the third host, we should call it Toon Talk 3.0.
Yeah, it's taking really hard to leave this.
Yeah, I know.
Can you stop it?
I know
We're gonna
that.
call it 2.0 and a half. For 2.5.
2.0 and a half.
Thank you, Jake. Amazing like always.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the production. Please fucking subscribe. Take it easy, everyone. Peace out.
I have a dream